It's modes of thinking. It's states of being. So there's a relaxed state. There's a working state. There's a healing state. There's a genius state. There's a reprogramming state, and it all has to do with this here. Okay. Good morning, Jay. It has to do with this here, the human being. Okay, brain waves. So now let's talk about some of them. Okay, so in manifestation, okay, or let's say in goal setting, in achieving your goals, because we talk about that a lot. Okay, and we talk about how manifestation is simply your subconscious. Okay, so if you're out there watching influencers and you're watching people that make it sound like it's magic, or like, you rub the magic lamp and then something appears, that's not what it is. It's your subconscious. Okay? So now, what are the brainwave states? There's beta, alpha, theta, delta, and gamma. Okay? Now, beta, right, is when you're doing things, when you're focused. Focused work is beta. So when you're in beta state, okay, you know, you're actively doing something, or figuring out math problems, or doing equations, or doing processes, that kind of thing. Your brain is in beta. Okay, so how do you get there? Caffeine, structured work, upbeat music, binaural beats, those things. Okay, so they come in very handy. And you will get a lot done if you listen to binaural beats. Okay, they've done some research, they've done the homework, and it does work. So try that. So what about alpha state? What is the alpha state? The alpha state is relaxation. That's when you're relaxing. So when you're in alpha state, okay, like when you go for a walk, or when you just kind of kick back and relax, play soft music, that kind of thing, then your brain is in alpha. Okay, alpha waves. Now, when you're in alpha, what is this good for? Is this good for manifestation? Kind of, sort of. Okay, but there's one better. Okay, there's one better. So we're getting there. Theta state. So now, theta state is good for reprogramming your subconscious. Okay, now theta state is when you first wake up in the morning. Okay, you first get out of bed, you first sit up out of bed. Before you do anything, you're in theta state. Now, right before you go to bed, you're in theta state as well, when you're ready to turn off the light. Okay, when you're ready to put your head down on the pillow. That's the most effective time to reprogram your subconscious. Now, what does this do? It helps you get out of bad habits. It helps you acquire new ones, whatever is necessary. But this is when you do it. Okay? So theta state, how do you get there? Well, you can do guided meditations. You can just simply relax. I mean, simply chill. You can go from alpha to theta pretty effectively with music. Just, meditate or be still. Like we say, you don't have to do fancy mantras and things like that. You can just simply relax. You can just simply chill, and you will get into theta brainwave state. Okay, so hypnosis is another thing that's another thing that it's a thing. People do hypnosis, and you can actually just kind of relax your way into theta state. Okay, but before you fade off to sleep, that's when you want to do your intentions. That's when you want to write, I am so happy and grateful now that I'm confident, thank you. Or whatever it is. I am so happy and grateful now that I have an extra $100 this month. Thank you. That kind of thing. Okay. So now what's the other state? Well, there's delta. So delta is a healing state. Okay, that's when your brain is healing. So when is this? This is when you're in deep sleep. Okay, when you're experiencing REM sleep. Okay, those are delta waves. Now, why is that important? Well, I cut my hand over here, like right here, and a few weeks ago, and it's all healed up already. So how did I heal? Well, I took a lot of naps because I had to heal. So you have to understand that, in this process, when you need to heal, okay, if you've been overworking, if like me, you cut yourself, it was a pretty deep cut. Okay, if you need to heal from a cut, or if you just need to, like, you're approaching burnout, you're working too hard, you need to sleep. Okay, you're losing your voice. Okay, water and sleep. Water and sleep, hydration and sleep cure a lot of things. And when you're in that process, your brain is in delta waves. Okay, so that's delta. Is beats about from like losing your cool. It prevents you from a lot of losing your cool. It prevents you from a lot of things. Okay, but it keeps you in flow state, and that's when things get accomplished really quickly, and you can get a work. Let's say the workload of 3 people, you could accomplish that in like a couple of days. Okay, so I get, when I hyper focus, I get through about 3 people's worth of work in like a couple of days. So it really helps to be balanced in that way. Now, how else do you get gamma? Well, anytime you really apply your mind to figuring something out. Okay, when you're like super focused, hyper focused, that kind of thing. All right, so why is this important? It's important because the law of attraction, or let's say goal setting, or let's say accomplishing goals, okay, all of that, okay, is very relative to how you feel. And you want to be sure you're in the correct brain state, okay? Because you cannot reprogram your subconscious if you're in gamma, okay? Because you'll be all hyped out, you'll be too focused, okay? So the subconscious is working too hard in that instance. Okay, now the subconscious is working underneath everything. So I want to point out that it's your conscious mind that leads the way in gamma or in hyper focus. Okay, so there's only the conscious, subconscious. And for the sake of people that believe in a higher source or a higher power, we say superconscious, okay, or consciousness or God. So we assign it that label because we're not here to tell anybody how to believe. You believe what you want to believe, and but we assign that label. So it's a neutral label that everybody can go, oh, okay, God, all right, got it. So there's the conscious mind that thinks about 80,000 thoughts a day. Now, out of those 80,000 thoughts, the thoughts that you think the most go into your subconscious as programs. So you could look at your conscious mind as being your operating software. You can look at the subconscious as being your hard drive where the programs are stored. You can look at the superconscious as being the network that we're all plugged into, consciousness. Okay, it's an easy way to understand it. Okay, I try to break things down as far as I can so that anybody could understand this. And I teach 3-year-olds. So 3-year-olds are pretty cool. They don't understand much, but they understand muscles, air, and energy. And boy, when those things kick in and you explain things in those terms, they're amazing. 3-year-olds are amazing. So what do, I've talked to a lot of church people, and of course, they tell me, oh, that's witchcraft. That's law of attraction stuff. That's not real stuff. It is real stuff. It doesn't involve demons. It involves your subconscious. Okay, that being said, you could turn your subconscious into a demon. That's possible because your subconscious learns in repetition. Are you doing demonic stuff? Because if you're doing demonic stuff, your subconscious can go that way. Okay? It learns in repetition. So as you do things over and over, it learns how to do it. Okay, let me give you examples. You don't have to learn how to drive your car every morning. You don't have to learn how to brush your teeth every morning. All of these actions are committed to your subconscious. 95% of everything you do every day is committed to subconscious. Okay, so those bad decisions you make? The bad ones. Everybody makes good and bad decisions. I make bad decisions all the time, but I fix it. I reprogram my subconscious. Let me show you. So your subconscious takes orders. It's an order taker. Okay, much like the military where people take orders. So these are affirmations. Okay, this is not journaling. These are affirmations. These are instructions for my subconscious. So when I make a bad decision, I fix it. Okay, and it's easy to fix. That's what affirmations are for. You affirm things into your subconscious. Okay, so like I am so happy and grateful now that I am rested. If you need rest, I am so happy and grateful now that I'm working an extra shift. If you need an extra shift, okay? So whatever it is you need, whatever it is you desire, okay, you can bring into your world. How does that happen? Well, thoughts become things. Choose the good ones. If you think negative thoughts, guess what? Guess what comes? Negativity. If you think positive thoughts, guess what happens? Positive things. Okay, so a lot of people don't put it together. You know, they don't put together when they lose their cool in the morning traffic, and then right around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, something bad happens and they lose money or they get bad news or, you know, that kind of thing. They don't put it together. But what goes around comes around. How does that happen? It happens through your subconscious. How does that work? Well, your conscious mind that thinks 80,000 thoughts, right? Your predominant thoughts, and let's say, you know, one of those predominant thoughts leads you to a negative action. So it starts with a negative thought. Then the negative thought goes into the subconscious. The subconscious creates an action out of it. And you actually take action on it. Now, the action can be thought or the action can be physical. You know? And if it's physical, okay, then you commit the action, and then what do you get after that? You get a result. Now, if you commit bad actions, you're going to get bad results. It's that simple. It's really, really simple. None of this is rocket science. None of it. And you speak things into existence through your subconscious. Really? Yeah. God spoke the world into existence, and you can speak things into existence. So let me give you an idea, okay? When you say, I'm not that smart. I'm not that smart. Pretty soon your subconscious is going to get that message. I'm not that smart. Okay? And be very careful of what you put next to the word I. Because I, okay, refers to your very being. So if you say, I'm not that smart, what you're really saying is, I am not that smart. And I am is God's name in the Holy Bible. Okay, now if you don't believe in the Bible, if you don't believe in, you know, Christianity, it's okay. I'm just saying, it still applies. It applies to your being when you use the word I. Okay, and that's how you use God's name in vain. Okay, I am stupid. I am, you know, whatever. Whatever derogatory adjective you want to put after I am, okay, that's using God's name in vain. Why? Because God lives in here. The kingdom is within. Jesus Christ told us that. Gautama Buddha told us that. Krishna told us that. All the great prophets told you that, right? The kingdom is within. Now, if you're saying things against what's in the kingdom, okay, and I'm talking about this in here, your spirit. We are spiritual beings having a physical existence. Okay, so your spirit is in here. You're not your body. You're not your name. You're that spirit that lives in here. So if you say, you know how stupid I am, now you are cursing the spirit. You are speaking against yourself. When your subconscious believes it, when you say it enough that your subconscious believes it, even though you're being sarcastic, even though you're joking, even though you're playing around with your friends, right? And your subconscious doesn't know if you're talking to yourself or if you're talking to somebody else, because your subconscious cannot distinguish fantasy from reality. It cannot pass judgment. So what happens? Well, when you say, like so-and-so, you're so stupid, okay, your subconscious doesn't know if you're talking to someone else or yourself. It just hears you. So what does that do to you? Well, low self-esteem, low self-pride, low self-image, all of that stuff. You start thinking less of yourself. And then what happens? You develop a complex and you don't even know how you got it. You're not even aware of what happened. but you cursed yourself. You brought this on yourself. I'm not talking about a witchcraft curse. I'm just saying you have cursed, okay? Curse words, right? Okay, like that. You have cursed yourself. That's where you get low self-esteem from. That's where you get bad complexes from. You know, when you swear at somebody else, your subconscious doesn't know if you're swearing at somebody else or swearing at you. And then what kind of habit of speech do you have? Do you have a habit of swearing? Do you have a habit of talking about somebody else? Because your subconscious has no clue. It does not know. And then pretty soon what happens? You start feeling bad inside. And you know when you're feeling bad inside because you have that feeling, right? And then you can't look at yourself in the mirror. Can you express love to yourself in the mirror? But the subconscious responds to visuals and audio first. Those two things first. Whatever it sees and whatever it hears. And above all else, it responds to you over everything else. Why? Because it's you. You look at you more than anybody else. Your subconscious looks at you more than anybody else. Your subconscious hears you more than anybody else. Right now, in the moment, my subconscious does not know if I'm talking to you or if I'm talking to myself. So it's really important that I deliver a correct message or an accurate message or a truthful message or whatever. So how do you change these things? Well, number one, you could work on your speech. Okay. In the Bible, it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What does that mean? It doesn't mean this heart. It means your subconscious. As you believe in your subconscious, so are you. Thoughts become things. You attract what you focus on. What's your focus going to be if your subconscious believes something? It's going to believe whatever it believes to be true. Then what does the subconscious do? Then it starts showing you evidence of it. You know, when you start saying, oh, I'm not too smart, your subconscious goes, oh, not too smart? Is that what we're doing? Okay. And then what does it do? It shows you instances of you not being so smart. It goes, yeah, you remember when when you did this, that turned out bad, right? You remember in high school, in junior year, when you cut out of class and you got suspended? That didn't work, did it? You're stupid. Okay, I'm just playing around, but I'm trying to give you examples. It will pull from your memory, and it will show you that as evidence, and you will think about these things, and it will surface, and pretty soon, right? You'll have all the evidence that you need to go, okay, I guess that's true. I am stupid. You see? And then how do you feel about that? How are you going to feel? You're not going to feel good. And then what happens? Well, when you feel bad, guess what kind of decisions you make? Poor decisions. Why? Because you feel bad. Because those decisions are not going to be made out of love. Okay, love is the highest vibration. Love is the best feeling emotion. Okay? And then down from that, we have love, peace, gratitude, joy, passion, excitement, enthusiasm, hope, and satisfaction. Satisfaction is at the bottom of the feel-good emotions, or the positive emotions, or the high-frequency emotions. Now, once you get past satisfaction, where do you go? You go to worry. Now you start the negative emotions. Worry, irritation, disappointment, criticism, anger, hate, boredom, envy, despair, grief, guilt, shame, and fear at the bottom. So fear is the opposite of love. So if you're feeling anything from worry down to fear, you're in a negative vibration. Okay, now vibration in this instance is how you're feeling. It's emotions, okay? It's not like resonance like science, okay? It's a little bit different. But science tells us that when we feel bad, or when we think of things that make us feel bad, we make bad decisions. Why? Because like attracts like. Now, if you're feeling good, one of the positive emotions or the higher frequency emotions, when you make a decision, chances are that outcome is going to be good. So feeling good is the objective, always. The Indian philosopher Shanakwa said, your feelings are your God. He wasn't talking about God. He wasn't talking about that. He was talking about the fact that your feelings govern your existence. It governs either a happy existence or a frustrated existence. It governs either a enjoyable existence or a tormented existence. So how are you going to live? That depends on how you think. Because the thought brings the emotion to match the thought. So every thought is going to bring the appropriate emotion to match. You think good thoughts, good emotions. You think of happy things, you be happy. You think of loving things, you bring love into the picture. You bring feelings of love. Then what happens? Then you express love. Then you become love. Before you express love, you should become love. How do you do that? Speak love. Speak love as often as possible. It'll make you feel good inside. I was saying the other day, right? Instead of saying, I like that, say, I love that. Instead of saying, I like that car, say, I love that car. Instead of saying, I like that girl, say, I love that girl. I like that guy, I love that guy. You ever notice that older people do that? Older people, they do that all the time, right? They go, hey, I love you. They have no problem saying love you or I love you. They have no problem saying that. Why? Because they know. Because they have grown. Because they have evolved. Become things. It's because of your subconscious. When you hear as a man thinketh, so is he, it's subconscious. Because first you think the thought, then you feel the emotion. When you marry intention with emotion, it goes into your subconscious. Now, your subconscious starts the process of manifestation. It starts the process of filtering into your life what your belief is and filtering out what you don't believe. And this is why when you expect good stuff, you get good stuff. Bad things happen, but the good things will outweigh the bad things, and your life will reflect it, because your life reflects what you think. The universal law of correspondence says that everything out here in your immediate world reflects you in here. If you really want to know how a person is, take a look in their car. Take a look at their desk. Take a look at their house, their yard. Are they organized or are they scattered? Are they messy or are they tidy? Are they clean? Are they dirty? It's a direct reflection. Whatever's going on in here is going on right out here. Right out here. Not way out there. Right here. That's what's going on inside. You cannot be disorganized in here and have an organized desk at work. It does not happen. It cannot happen unless you're having somebody else organize it for you, and then you'll eventually mess it up again. So, as a man thinketh in his heart means as a man believes. As a man believes. Whatever you believe, so you are. Why? Because your core beliefs dictate your paradigm. What's your paradigm? Okay, let's take a look at the tree, the imaginary tree, subconscious tree, okay? The roots are the subconscious beliefs. The body of the tree is your paradigm, okay? So your paradigm is the way you see the world, your attitude, all of that, okay? So that's the paradigm, the body of the tree. The fruits on the tree up here are your actions, your habits and actions. Actions bring results, right? When you commit an action, when you do something, you get a result. And that's why they say the definition of insanity is doing the same actions, right? Same actions, expecting a better result or a different result. Because if you commit the same actions over and over, you're going to get the same results. So, taking responsibility for your life just means, okay, I can see what's not working and I'm going to fix it. How do you fix it? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization, all aimed at one thing. What thing? What's going wrong? The thing that's going wrong. Okay? Let's say, for example, your house is a mess and you want to be organized. Okay? So first, you're going to write the affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that my house is organized. Thank you. Now you need to write that every morning, okay? When you wake up, when you're in theta state, okay, we just talked about that, right? Theta state, okay? Write it when you're in theta state, and write it again when you speak it out loud when you're in theta state again at the end of the evening before you go to bed, before you turn the lights off, when you're fully relaxed. Those two periods are when you program the subconscious. And also, you can try this before you go to bed. You can speak out loud what you want tomorrow to be like. And overnight, because your voice is the last thing that your subconscious hears, it will start to work on it. It will start to make it happen for you. Now, it may not turn out exactly like that, but if you're speaking good thoughts, if you're speaking good things into your subconscious, chances are you wake up in a good mood the next day. What happens when you wake up in a good mood? You do good things. What happens when you do good things? You get good results. It's that simple. It's very easy. This is not difficult. You just need to do it in repetition, which means you just need to do it every day. Practice it every day. Write your affirmation every day. It takes 63 days. It takes 63 days to bring something into the material world. I know it sounds like magic. It's not magic. It's the human being. The kingdom is within. Jesus said the kingdom is within. Krishna said the kingdom is within. Gautama Buddha said the kingdom is within. They said it in different ways, but they meant the same thing. So when you want something, seek and ye shall find. You seek in here. When you knock, knock and the door will open. You knock in here. You go inside and knock on the door. What does that mean? Ask, believe, receive. Okay, ask, believe in your asking, and receive what you asked for. The only thing that dismisses it is doubt and fear. That's it. When you doubt it, in other words, if you go, well, please God, bring me a car. And then you go, God probably won't bring me the car, right? You see, you just cancel it out if you do that. So you have to believe in your asking. And part of believing in your asking is to believe that you're worth it, to believe you deserve it. And you have to see yourself with it. Then you have to feel as if. Okay, so you have to act as if and feel as if you already have it. And then what? And then it starts coming towards you. Because now you're walking towards it. So how does this process work? Well, your conscious mind that thinks 80,000 thoughts a day, your predominant thoughts go into your subconscious. Your subconscious shows you evidence of whatever it is that you believe, so hopefully it's something good. And then, what does the superconscious do? What does God do? What does consciousness do? What does this entity do? Higher self, infinite intelligence. It opens doors. It works the same way a GPS works. If you understand a GPS, you understand God. Let me explain. You know how the GPS will give you a route to go to, right? You put in the address, it shows you the way, okay? But maybe you know a shortcut. So instead of going the way the GPS said, you go over here because you know there's a shortcut here. The minute you miss that street that the GPS said to go on, what happens? It starts to recalibrate, right? It starts spinning. Why? It's thinking. That's exactly how God works. It's thinking. Then what does it do after it? It lays out the perfect path to go the way you're going. That's the way God works. Every time you change your mind, it takes a little while to recalibrate and to lay everything out for you. So as you take the steps towards your goal, the doors begin to open. The right people come into view. I use the same scenario all the time, right? Oh, I wanted to work at XYZ company, and I went to the gym, and a coincidence, this guy at the gym works for XYZ company in HR, and he said they have openings. He told me to go apply, and I applied, and guess what? I'm working in HR. What a coincidence. And you weren't even taking a step towards XYZ company. You went to the gym. So, was there knowledge in here that you wanted to work at the XYZ company? Yeah. Where's the kingdom? In here. Where's the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious? In here. Where does God live? In here. So you mean to tell me you were divinely led to a job at XYZ company? Yeah. Because God is real. God is real. So the good part, all the good emotions belong to God. All the bad emotions, the negative emotions, from worry all the way down to fear, all these bad emotions don't belong to God. They belong to the opposition. There's always the yin and the yang. There has to be dark or negative energy, okay? And there has to be positive or light energy or good energy. So you can call this good, you can call this evil, you can call this, positive, you can call this negative, you can call this light, you can call this dark, okay? But that's the duality. Those are the facts. And as human beings, we do the windshield wiper thing, right? I always go like this, right? Good thought, bad thought, good thought, bad thought. Hopefully it's good, bad, good, bad, like that. So you have more positive than negative. But that's what happens. Nobody's perfect. I get bad thoughts. I get bad thoughts all the time. But I counterbalance it with good thoughts. And here's what you can do. When you have a bad thought, just say stop. And then focus on something positive. Now, if you have trouble doing it, here, I have a vision board, okay? So sometimes I make vision boards or gratitude boards. And maybe one day soon we'll go over, we'll do one session on here where I'll show you how to make it. It's really simple, okay? But your picture goes in the middle. Why? Because you have to see yourself with what you want. Your subconscious has to recognize it. So let's say, for example, you have a picture of your dog on here, or your baby on here, or your husband or wife on here, okay? So let's say it's one of those things that make you feel good, like a good thing, right? Okay, something that represents good feelings in your life. Now, you have a bad thought, right? Ah, the electric bill is due. Stop. Say stop. Pick up your phone. Now, look at the one you love, or the thing you love, or the thing you desire, or whatever it is. Okay? Now you have shifted your focus. Now you're focusing on what you love. Now your eyes, right, take you into a different thought. That thought brings a different emotion. So if you're looking at your, 2-year-old daughter, right, you're going to go, ah, you see? Now you've changed your emotion. You took your emotion away from the bad side and you brought it over here in the good column. And that's the column that belongs to love, because all of these emotions, okay, satisfaction, hope, enthusiasm, excitement, passion, joy, gratitude, peace, belong to love. All of those emotions belong to love. Now you brought yourself over here in this category. Now everything is good. Why? Because you saw something you loved. You thought of that when you looked at it, and then the emotion came. So now you look over here, you see something good, you feel good. There you go, mission accomplished. That's how to do it. You have to change your thoughts. If you can do it in your head, that's fine. But something visual helps, because your subconscious responds to, like I said, visual, audio. That's why it's important to speak stop. When you speak stop, try it. It works. It works really, really good. Or you can say no. When you feel the negative thought coming, just say no. After you do it a few times out loud, you could do it in your head. Just say no in your head. This will help you refocus and reframe. Because when you get a bad thought, you need to reframe it. What's reframing? Okay, so everything has a positive and negative to it, right? Okay, so glass half full, glass half empty. Glass half empty, glass half full. So when you get to a situation, or when you get to a circumstance where there's negativity, where something's not going right, instead of looking at it not going right, figure out the good part of it. What's good about it? Okay? Switch to the glass half full. Then things are easier to deal with. What happens when something is delayed? Yeah, you have to be patient. So, Costas, patience is evidence of faith. Remember that. Okay, impatience, when you want something right now, and because it's not magic, right? It's not magic. So impatience has nothing to do with faith. Okay, impatience is the opposite. Impatience is evidence of doubt, which will bring you more lack. So, be patient. Like I said, that's the way God works, like the GPS. When you change your mind, in other words, maybe the decision is, I'm going to go to medical school. And then you change your mind because you start thinking of everything that's involved in medical school, and you go, I think I'll go to law school. Or maybe you think, I don't like the sight of blood, so yeah, maybe medical school is not for me. Now you switch to law school. And then God goes, wait, hold on, right? Now the GPS starts recalibrating, right? And then God lays out the path for you to go to law school. Now, like I said, you don't have to believe in God, okay? I'm just saying that's my belief system. But the superconscious here represents that. So let's just say superconscious. So that's higher self, infinite intelligence, God, Jesus Christ, Allah. All of that goes in the superconscious category. Okay, but the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious are all in here. And it's very easy to do. It's just as easy to form a good habit as it is a bad habit. People think good habits like require a lot of work. Not really. A good habit starts with a pen, and that's why the pen is more powerful than the sword. Because with a pen, you can change, literally change your mind. And you can actually keep things permanent if you keep writing them. Why? Because we have random thoughts. And if we lock on to a random thought, it will become a belief. And this is why this happens. This is one of my used ones, but this is why I do this. Because you have to do maintenance on your subconscious. You have to keep it going. The same reason you say your prayers every night. The same reason you go to church on Sunday, hopefully. But the kingdom is in here. The power is in here. God lives in here, not up there, out there. There is no out there. There is no out there, out there. You know, out there, out there. It's only nature and things from other people's in here. That's all that's out there. Action is needed for manifest. Yes, and action is also thinking. You have to get this right first, Costas. Before you take the steps towards anything, you have to commit here. So, in order to manifest something, number one, you think it. Okay. Number two, you write it. Number three, you speak it. Number four, you visualize it. If you do all of those four things, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization, aimed at one thing, it has to happen. It cannot not happen. You're a human being. As long as you don't doubt and you don't fear, it will happen. Always remember that the how is God's job, or whatever, however you believe. Okay, I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but the how is God's job in the superconscious category. Okay, so however you believe, whoever your God is, however. If you don't believe in God, then you only have the conscious and subconscious. Atheists only have the conscious and subconscious. That's all they have. There's no superconscious because they don't believe in a higher power. So, the how is God's job. So many people get hung up on how. How are they going to make something happen? Oh, I don't know how. How am I going to make this? Oh, I don't know how. Of course you don't know how. Let God do the how. So Christians have a saying for that. They say, give it to God. Which is another way of saying, the how is God's job. Let God take it. Let God take the burden. Let God take everything you're worried about. Because the how will paralyze you. When I built my production company, which was the first company that I owned, I didn't know how. I just knew I wanted to do production and I wanted to get paid for it. That's all I knew. So I started building my studio. I built a home studio when home studios just first became a thing. So I didn't know how. We did a lot of work, started getting paid for it, got paid pretty good for it. Then came the voice school, the singing school. I didn't know how I was going to do it. It started with an ad in the phone book. And then the studio that I built in my home for my production company, I started teaching in that studio. I made it a teaching studio. So it was a teaching studio and a recording studio. I didn't know how. I had no idea how. The third company was a record company, Imua Records, which became AFM Hawaii Music. You could check it out, afmhawaiimusic.com. I didn't know how. I did not know how. You see, all you need to do, the reason the how is no good, is because it will tie you up in knots. if you try to figure out how you're going to do this, how are you going to do that, sometimes, number one, you can't visualize it. Maybe you've never done it. Maybe nobody in your family has had a business. Maybe whatever it is, right? Maybe no one in your family has gone to college, and you're trying to think of how you can go to college, or how you can get there, or how you can do this, how you can do that. And the hows will tie you up. It will paralyze you. Because you'll be thinking, well, maybe I could do this. No. Maybe over here. No, not like maybe this. I don't know. I don't know how. You see? Don't let the hows tie you up. Give it to God. Let God do the hows. The how is always God's job. Every single business that I have, I didn't know how. I didn't know how. People on my Facebook see all my companies and everything. And they ask me, oh, Uncle, how did you do this? I'm like, I really didn't know how. I just started it. But see, the beautiful thing about the subconscious, right? And when the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious work together, synergistically in concert, as you take the steps, the doors begin to open. All you have to do is walk towards it. So I have a client right now that is learning this from me. And every Sunday we walk at Alamana Park. So we have a walking meeting. We do 3 miles. Yesterday we did 3.7 miles. And as we're walking, all I keep telling them is, you got to walk towards it. Keep walking towards it. So my questions are like, what did you do this week? What did you do this week towards that walk? What did you invest this week towards that walk, towards that goal? So what's the goal for you? You know, if the goal for you is like, okay, I want to build an app. I want to build an app that will make XYZ easier. Okay, that people will buy on the App Store. So what steps did you take this week to walk towards that app? Oh, well, did some research. Talked to this guy. You know, this guy makes apps, and he gave me a quote. Okay, there you go. You're getting closer. Okay? And pretty soon the right people come into view. The right guys come in. You meet the right people. And all of a sudden, you're manufacturing the app. All of a sudden, you figured it out. Why? Maybe figuring it out was somebody else's job that you met. You know, entrepreneurs. So here's something that, you know, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, take this from Uncle. Okay, hire experts. Entrepreneurs don't have to know how. They don't know how. They hire experts. Let the experts show you how. Let the experts do their job. And that's another thing. If you're involved in that kind of effort, I'm here to tell you, if you hire experts and you let this guy do his job, and you hire another guy and you let that guy do his job, and you let this other guy do their job, everything's going to come together like that. In Hawaii, we have a word called mana. And mana is this life force, this energy within you. Okay? Mana are the gifts that you have within that you have to offer. And everybody has mana. Everybody has their own mana. But when you combine 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people together, and everybody has their gifts to offer, and everybody has that mana, that energy to offer, they all bring their own gifts to the table. And all of those gifts combined are very powerful. I'm here to tell you, it's very powerful. So you don't have to know how. In this day and age, it's so easy to make money. Oh my God. Like, it's so easy. You have free stuff. You have free web pages. You have free Facebook pages. You have free Instagram. You have free... I don't want to keep going because some of our algorithms might slow down on me. But yeah, you have free digital stuff, like all kinds of stuff. Now you have AI. Now you have all of that. So if you have one of these, and you tell me you cannot pay your phone bill, you're not trying hard enough. You're not trying hard enough. I have a company called VMAC Consultants. We help people in the digital world. We help get them started. We help them figure out what they need at minimum to sometimes no cost. There's a lot of stuff out there. Unless you have 100 customers, you get it for free. Unless you get 50 customers, you get it for free. So it's so super easy to make money now. All you have to do is take the steps. You do not need to know how. You take the steps towards something, the doors begin to open. That's how God works. When the doors begin to open, the right people come into play. And then you have those coincidences, right? Like, oh, I just so happens I met so-and-so and he does the same thing I'm interested in. Or she does the same thing I'm interested in. Oh, really? Oh, now you guys can talk. You see? Coincidence? When you start doing the meditation part of what I do, okay, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. That's what we do. That's what I do with my clients. When you do the meditation part, things become clear. Why? Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism, said, muddy water let stand becomes clear. So when you're rushing around doing stuff, you're making the water muddy. When you're meditating, you stop, you become still. What happens to the water? It clears. That's a metaphor. What does it mean? It means when you're still, you begin to increase your awareness. When you begin to increase your awareness, what happens? Things just kind of sort themselves out. When you have patience, what happens? You ever come upon a situation and it looks negative, or it looks bad, or it looks like there's going to be a problem, and you just wait for a little while, you're just patient for a little while, instead of pronouncing judgment, instead of executing an action that may end up, the situation could turn in a different way, and you're just patient, and you're kind of observing the situation, and pretty soon it turns and it shifts, and then it works out. You ever do that? How does that work? Perception. There's always a good side. So what's the key? Glass half empty, glass half full. If you wait long enough, if you're patient long enough, you can start to see the good part of it, and it will surface. And then instead of the glass being half empty, it's gonna be half full. It's gonna work in your favor. Be patient. Patience is evidence of faith. Impatience is evidence of lack. It's evidence of doubt. So what are you feeling? Are you feeling doubtful? Okay, don't be impatient. There you go. Okay. Now, how do you shift to abundance from a lack mindset? First of all, change your words. Instead of negative words all the time, instead of swear words all the time, speak love, speak peace, speak gratitude. Say thank you. Thank you. Thank you works miracles. Gratitude multiplies. Rhonda Byrne calls it the great multiplier. Gratitude. When you say thank you for something, in the morning I get in the shower. I've been doing this for so many years, like over 20 years. When I get in the shower in the morning, I don't forget to thank God for the water. I thank God for the shower. I thank God for the hot water. You know how many people in the world don't have a shower? There's 8 billion of us. If you have a shower, you're among the minority. If you have hot water, you're among the minority. You're watching me right now on a device. You're among the minority. Not everybody in the world has a phone. Not everybody in the world has a computer. Not everybody in the world has hot water. Not hot and cold running water in a shower in their house. Some people have to go outside still. You see how lucky we are? So say thank you. You don't have to even direct it to anybody. If they're, if you don't believe in God, it's okay. Just say thank you. You don't have to direct it to somebody. Or you can direct it to whoever you believe. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Father God. Thank you, Allah. Thank you, whoever. Krishna, Buddha. But gratitude is the great multiplier. You have a difficult situation. You try to make positive. I have patience. Yeah. Have patience with difficult situations. Chances are it will work out for you. So first you change your language. Start speaking these positive vibrations, these higher vibrations, the vibrations that belong to love. Love, peace, gratitude, joy, passion, excitement, enthusiasm, hope, and satisfaction. If you're satisfied with something, you're on the right track. That's the beginning. On the other end, it starts with worry, and then it kind of goes all the way down to fear. And if you start worrying, okay, just remember that worry is like praying for something bad to happen. So when you start speaking love, when you start writing love, I am so happy and grateful now that I am loving. Thank you. There you go. Now you're becoming love. You want to find love? Become it first. Because when you become it, like attracts like, you start attracting love. These young boys, they ask me, Uncle, how do I get these girls to love me? How do I get these girls? I said, show them love. Show them love. Be loving towards them. If you get defensive with them and you're like, you the man, like, good luck. Good luck. Try being loving. Girls love that. Anyway, so it's 8 o'clock. I'm sure, yeah, Jay's over there. Okay, see you tomorrow, right? Good evening. I've sent you my email, but haven't received your good boy. Billy, I haven't gotten your email, Billy. Try it again. I check my email like 4 or 5 times a day. Send it today and see if it goes through. I'll send you the book, no problem. Yeah. Or you can DM me over there. Yeah, we're on 7 platforms every morning. But it's 8 o'clock in Hawaii. I have to go and do my clients today. So I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys, took some notes, and I hope you guys turn that into a better life. That's why I'm here. This is my volunteer time. I have nothing to sell you. If you want a copy of my book, The Universal Law of Attraction and Singing, just message me or DM me or, inbox me. Or you can email me at junior@hereforyoulifecoaching.com. I will send you a free PDF copy of my book just for being here today.